My name is Adesowa Onyinokwe. My guest today is one of those people very friendly to the media because he's very accessible to them, but he started his life in politics as the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Now he is the governor of that state. It's my pleasure to welcome to the studio once again Honorable Rotimi Chibwike Amechi. It's nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome to One on One again. Why are you so accessible?
I don't know. It's my nature. I'm simple. I'm just who I am.
Are you paying the price for that? Because, once you're accessible to the media, they could bug you,
No, not really just media. I'm accessible to everybody, so you can reach me at any point in time you want to reach me.
Does it have its negatives?
Of course. A lot of the issues of documentations will suffer. Because for you to be able to read your documents, then you need time and space. But people don't want to allow you to do that. Everybody wants to see you Sunday, Monday, all through to Saturday again. And so you find out that the more you give attention to seeing people, the more other things will suffer. But we'll find a way out.
Does sleep suffer too?
Of course, sleep suffers. Sometimes you sleep at 4 a.m.
Oh, really? Now, on the 26th of October, there was victory because people thought, I think that was the beginning of good news for Nigerians in politics, believing that you stuck to your guns, you went to court, when your mandate was stolen from you, in your opinion, and you got it back, October 26th. Do you regret that now, given the level of work that is on your table?
No, how will you regret that? First, even if tomorrow you're no longer a governor, but at least you've made a history. The fact that you stood your ground, the fact that this judiciary stood their ground and upheld justice, that's history. That's something that your children were very proud of. It's not going to be a tea party. There are going to be difficulties, there are going to be challenges for which you have to confront them. So I'm sure that for you to be a governor, you would have had plans on how to resolve some of the challenges you will meet because of governance. And
you certainly don't have regrets because you're still very accessible. But I just wonder, in recent times, maybe I should start from the last local government elections that were held in your state, and people expected there to be some rubble. You also had an experience in your area where, for example, ballot materials didn't come in early, but you still stuck to your guns. And we read in the papers that you only voted about 1 p.m. on that day. Is that true?
That's true. What happened? It wasn't in every local government area. What happened, particularly in my local government area, was about 5 wards didn't get their materials on time because there was mix-up. And then the mix-up was corrected eventually, and they had to bring the correct materials at about 1 o'clock and had to vote. I remember the Punch journalist did ask me, or the Punch reporter did ask me, if the governor was voting at this particular point in time, how will it be in other places? I said, while we were waiting, I was watching NTA, and there was a footage which said that voting started at Buguma at 10:50 a.m., which is an indication that some local government areas must have gotten their materials. But I did say on that day that what is important to me is that there was due process, there was rule of law, and that the people expressed
their own desires.
Yes, and that should be the outcome. Nobody should affect their expression.
Did you get indications of such delays in other parts? For example, in the remote areas, the riverine areas?
Yes, there was. Like in Bonny, they couldn't do any election in Bonny on that day. They had to repeat it. They had to do it on Sunday. Here, it affected 1 or 2 other local government areas, but despite the delay, they went ahead, even though we are still awaiting the outcome from State Independent Electoral Commission.
You did a semi-report card recently where you invited the media to tell them how far you've gone since you became the governor of that state. And one of the points that you raised in that was the issue of the existence of some kind of mafia. Was that a case of trying to cover your backside or trying to say, hey, listen, you guys watch out, people are after me?
Well, no, I wanted to alert the state and the country that there are people who had served in the last government who still believe that they should be part of the present government or they should have been governor. And like I said in that interview, I must have said it. I said they're getting broke, so they're getting more desperate to be part of power. They're either in court or writing all sorts of stories in the papers and making all sorts of statements. Once the state agrees with me that they recognize and identify these people, then we can move forward.
You didn't name names.
No, it's immaterial. I call them faceless in the sense that they write all these things and put their fake names, but I know them.
You know
and
them.
the state knows them. But the truth is that the state knows them.
You say they are broke. Why are they broke?
Well, don't forget they've been out of power for for 5 to 6 months now, and they weren't getting the free money they used to get before.
Could it be that the free money is going to other areas?
No. That's not what's going to happen anymore.
So the 68 billion that you collected in the past.
If you listen to what we did in giving account of stewardship, we did see the expenditure, see how they were expended. We didn't say we built a road in John or Mary Road or this. We didn't say that. We said this road was awarded at this cost. This was awarded at this cost. This is what we have in the savings and all that. And we have stopped because we're waiting for the budget to be passed. And as soon as the budget is passed, we'll continue.
But do you realize that Nigerians oftentimes do not try to check on their leaders? And you've said it oftentimes on this program. They should put their leaders on, rather than put them on the pedestal, put them on the hot seat. Fine, it's nice to say, I spent so much on this road. We can't check it to be sure it's right.
Why? First is, again, nobody compelled me to come there and render an account. I felt that I owed the people that responsibility, and I told them that I will be an accountable governor. I'll be accountable to them because it is important that we recognize that there are people you're serving and they want to know what you're doing with their funds. And I said to them, there will be a stakeholders forum 5 or 6 months after I've assumed office, and after 5 months I'll give an account of what we've done in the 5 months, and they're verifiable. The next time we may need to call people together, maybe between October and December, anytime we're going to do that, there'll be pictorial, not just pictorial, there must be a video recording of what projects that we may have done. And we will soon set up a monitoring committee that will go and ensure that these projects are constructed according to standards that may have been put in place by the institutions that are responsible for this. So it's not just a fluke. It's not just something like, oh, I'm doing this road at so place. It's a road with pronouns so that people can hear. So that if we name your village and you say you should be able to tell the word is not true, then we're looking at the cost. And it's that the people say, no, this cost is too high.
You're open to challenges, but you must have personal challenges also to attempt to be accountable, attempt to show that yes, this is what I'm doing. What kind of challenges are you facing?
Even when I started, my first statement, my opening statement at the
stakeholders,
I did say to them that this is a big challenge, that my team refused to allow me come on this issue. They did not want me to confront this issue this way. But I felt I owed it to the public.
Since you promised.
Yes, to the public, and I must go ahead and to do it. At the end of the day, they agree with me that it was important we did explain to the public what we were doing. Fine. Again, is to reassure the public that we're conscious of our promises. And most of our promises are supposed to be long-term projects. While we're doing that, we're also looking at the immediate projects that will impact on the people. That's what we did, and that's what we achieved from that.
Okay, I was just going to go to the next area, which is how did you rate the response to that?
Well, I have not. One thing about being a governor is that you may not hear what you want. What is the truth? What you may hear will be, oh, people are so happy. How would I know? But I've heard, a lot of people are happy that we are able to render account, and I'm sure they will be, because that's the first. It's novel. That's the first time that we're coming forward to say, look, this is your money, 68 billion. This is how we spent it. By right, the people you are accountable to in that manner will be the State Assembly.
That's right.
But we will say, okay, anytime State Assembly wants us, we will go, but let's also account to the people. And I told them it is not just anybody, it's not just inviting important persons, invite people to also on the streets, let them come and hear and ask questions. And when I finished, I said to the public, do not thank me. It is my responsibility to do these things that I've done. Do not tell me the areas I've done well. Let us start with the areas that I did not do well, so that we can.
It's a good thing that you realize that people probably would never really tell you the truth. People who are close to you.
I've been a speaker for 8 years. Don't forget that.
So that experience counts for something.
Yes, but don't also forget there are those who are with you, your immediate advisors, who will consistently tell you the truth. When I say you will not get the truth, I'm not saying that your immediate team will not tell you the truth. No.
You pick the team, so you should be sure that you have the right team.
So, the way I relate with my team is in such a manner that you know that we're all in this business together. If we fail, we are failed together. So you have to hold your own side.
What happened to the olive branch is stretched out to past members of government?
Some picked it, some joined. Others, are still hoping to join. Others still feel that if they put pressure, they will get better. They get better.
What could be better? Getting you out of the seat would be better? Or what could be the pressure?
I don't know what the objectives are, but there are two ways to do that. The first is that you have to continue to pray to God to keep to his promise. The second aspect is the fact that you have to follow the rule of law, and I don't think the law is on their side on the matter.
I mean, recently there was an outburst from your end over the spate of killings in Rivers State, but I hear that has come down, but it was worrying you at a point in time.
Yeah, what I said, I think that must have come from the statement I made at the stakeholders forum where the still worship. I did not talk about political killings. I talked about the militants, the killings by militants, and I addressed it to say that it revolves around the initial political support that they were getting, and they used that to eliminate quite a lot of people you don't know about because they're not holding political office, or they may not have achieved much in society, but they're right out there. And what followed was, I give an example that the last time we were having a campaign in Port Harcourt, we saw that a particular local government came with only women. What has happened to their husbands? So that's what we're addressing, not the highbrow political killings. I have no idea.
Okay, but tell me, I mean, in the Niger Delta, well, especially around Rivers and Delta State, what seems to be happening amongst the militants is picking up of people who ordinarily seem like they're not really the power brokers in the oil industry. Would you say they're getting desperate? They're not getting the kind of patronage they used to get before? They're picking up children, pregnant women, you know.
The truth is, we have been able to tackle bunkering.
Oh.
So business is no longer as usual in the bunkering area. The three areas of importance to them were Delta, Bayelsa, and Rivers, and the governors have been able to push through bunkering and try to fight all those who are doing bunkering. And because of that, people are getting more desperate in getting the alternative means of livelihood by picking even street kids who are going to school and all that. But if you observe in the past 2 to 3 weeks, you've never had that, because again we are tackling that. As you conclude the area of bunkering, you come out to face the new challenges that you are confronted with. And I can assure you that in no distant time, it will be a thing of the past.
You offered the militants the opportunity of dropping their guns to join you in the course of moving your state forward. How far with that offer?
Well, the offer is not as broad as people try to define it. The offer is to those young ones who are hired to kill just because they have no means of going to school, they have no means of livelihood and all that. Not the kingpins. The kingpins must come out and face the law. But the other ones that they hire were prepared for rehabilitation, and some of them have been coming out. Some we don't need to showcase them to the public, but some of them have been coming out, and we are beginning to. We want to set up a team that will be headed by Chief A.K. Hosford for purpose of rehabilitation. We want to take a complete resolution and rehabilitation committee, and once we put it in place.
Are they coming in droves or trickles?
Or trickles, because they don't believe us yet. Some are scared that you prosecute them.
Now, how do you determine which one is the? Which one is the
law? The law will tell you. They have information on quite a lot of them. The law will tell you, this appears not to be on our radar, meaning that it must be somebody new. Anybody who's been there and been committing a lot of crime will certainly be on the radar of the police and the state security.
So the kingpins are the ones who are already identified as the police, as you know.
Very good. And the police and the SSS will help us in that regard of picking those who are not too involved in crime. We'll rehabilitate them.
Okay. Now, in your opinion, I mean, 5 months, it's a dream, especially because it's as if God has made this happen for you. You have determined that you're going to move your state forward. The issue of militancy, is it your biggest headache?
Well, insecurity is one of the greatest challenges we have had to face. But we want the world to acknowledge that there's a difference.
How?
Well, by the time we came back on the Port Harcourt Street, we just have a shootout. Everybody's on the run. It's no longer the same. In Port Harcourt, before we came in, bunkering was everywhere. On the streets, you will see people selling fuel and all that. But now it's not the same. If you see, you are arrested. There's, to a great extent, an enforcement of law and order.
That easily in 5 months?
Well, you see it as easy. All it takes is the political will. It's the political will. The law enforcement agencies are prepared to work with you if you have the political will.
And I wonder about people worried for a long time why I mean, I don't know if the state of security is what's responsible for the opening of the Port Harcourt airport in the past 1 week.
No, it's been open a long time. I don't know whether it's the state of security, because the truth is the federal government obliged the request of the Nigeria Delta for the airport to be open. I'm even being told
it's not completed yet.
No, well, they are doing the wrong way. The lighting, and then is among the airports they will concession for a new terminal building and all that. But it's opened, aircrafts are flying into Port Harcourt. But maybe we could also attribute it to the peace we attained. To have a local government election where the violence was very, very minimal compared to what people were expecting. That there would have been death here and there, shooting here and there.
Was the turnout high, or people just stayed away for fear of all you're talking about?
No, I wouldn't be in a position to state that, but I think that with the voting, whatever votings we have is a representation of the reality on ground.
And now, I mean, I wonder why the continuous postponement. People worried about that too, that elections were postponed.
The elections were postponed because by the time we came in, we needed to appoint a new independent electoral commission since the court had declared the last one as illegal. And if the new one came in, they needed to be allowed to prepare for a local government election. After they prepared, they gave a date.
It was not a question of first getting your own firm roots and then trying to make your own...
No. Absolutely no.
Okay. Now, I think that we should move to the national level, and, project... I want to look at the area of revenue allocation. Given your experience, at least on the seat, it's different, definitely, being a speaker and now being a governor. Now you hold the yam and the knife.
I'm not aware.
I mean, you have the last say.
Are you sure you do have the last say? Don't forget that the budget is approved by the State Assembly. And they monitor the implementation. If they disagree with the implementation of the budget, then they will certainly strike. Or they'll certainly warn you. So it's not a matter of holding the knife and holding the yam. It's a matter of saying we all hold the knife, we all hold the yam. Because we must be responsible to the law. So I think that, but you were talking about the revenue formula.
Yes.
The Constitution is clear. The Constitution says 13%. The Nigeria Delta says
50.
They're setting for more. Some say total resource control and payment of tax to the federal government. Some others believe that you should do a percentage. Some say 50% and all that. And there are others who are arguing from other parts of Nigeria that we should account for the management of the 13% that we have given already. That by now it should reflect in our communities. But I agree that the peculiarity
of what's been disbursed already.
No, the Nigeria Delta, the peculiarity of the environment of Nigeria Delta would affect the expenditure. I tell you, for instance, by the time I came in, the Dr. Lee-led government had awarded the contract of 18 billion naira to a 36-kilometer of road. If you go to the north, that same 30-something kilometer of road could cost you about 400 million. Okay, maximum, give and take 1 billion. You'll be saving 17 billion. But in Rivers State and other part of Nigeria Delta, you can see the cost, 18. We're doing it an 88-kilometer of road around Port Harcourt, the ring road, 88-kilometer ring road, which we do, we're doing it in partnership with AFC, African Finance Corporation. It was to cost us $1 billion. But by the time AFC finished assessing it, it came back to $700 million. And that's 88 kilometers. I'm sure elsewhere it will cost a maximum of $5 billion.
So what are you saying? On what side are you on?
I'm not saying that nobody should say that the management of the funds is not judicious, in the sense that the peculiarity of the environment determine cost to a great extent. The cost is higher than other areas. So you see in areas where you can do 50 to 100 kilometers of road at 1 billion to 2 billion, it won't be the same if you did that of the Nigeria Delta areas.
But if funds are judiciously spent, it could have gone further.
No, but I still say that people shouldn't stay in their homes and criticize. Why not visit and see what is going on? There are differences in opinion about the management of fund. If you come to any of the states, you will see that development projects are taking place.
Okay. Now, I wonder though, I mean, as you are in your state trying to move the state forward, and you're trying to attract the youth, you believe the restive youth, the ones that are authentically wanting to make their lives better, how do you think we can check the problem of youth restiveness finally, apart from your state?
I believe that you need to engage them. I believe that they need employment. I believe that you should also enforce the law. Once you enforce the law, create employment opportunities, which is what we're doing, engage them in microfinance and all that, and make sure that they're employed. It could be different kinds of employment. It could be self-employment, or it could be engaged in the public service or the private sector. But let the youths be engaged in meaningful activity, and I'm sure they'll be out of.
Isn't the remuneration important? Because I mean, these are youth who are used to bunkering in your place, for example, and then even if it projects across the nation, these are youth who see people supposedly very wealthy and they want to be rich quickly too.
No, I think what you should do is reorientation. I think you should do a reorientation. That is critical, because as you look at the costs of the state, how much will it pay a man who is engaged in, how much will it pay a man who is engaged in bunkering, and it will satisfy him. You know? But a reorientation of saying, look, it pays to have a meaningful form of employment
that you can be proud of.
The dignity of labor, and for which you're safe, than to engage yourself in bunkering for which you never know when the military will strike. So I prefer reorientation.
Are you doing that in your state?
Oh, of course.
I would like to know what kind of moves you have made towards this reorientation you talked about.
Well, the first thing we thought about was first to enforce the law. That's where we are. Having looked at it, the next thing we're looking at is the committee. I told you here that was setting up that to be headed by Chief A.K. Horsfall. They would deal with the issue of conflict resolution and rehabilitation. I also would charge them to deal with the issue of reorientation. Because if you don't do a reorientation, the people will not change their behavioral pattern.
Now, let me just quickly go to the area of infrastructure in your state. What difference have you been able to make in the 5 months, almost 6 months now that you've been there?
Don't take me more than 5 months. 5 months.
April.
April 26 will make me.
Okay.
6 months.
That's almost 6 months.
I have 6 more days. Most of the things we want to do are long terms, but long-term projects. But we've done roads, we've built some health centers. We are trying.
In 5 months.
We've built some health centers that are there. We are reconstructing the hospital called the Niger Hospital in Dube, and we've done close to 50 to 100 roads. That day when we were doing the presentation, I named the roads and the streets one after the other. And we are doing a ring road around Port Harcourt at Evocatus.
That's ongoing.
Yes. And then we are doing, in partnership with First Bank, a housing estate, Rainbow Town housing estate, that will cost 50 billion naira. But under PPP, First Bank is funding. We just provided the land as equity. We've gone into partnership with Silverbird to build a mall, an international conference center, and a hotel. Our equity is just the land under PPP arrangement. We're building a 1,200-bed hospital with a private firm from Canada, and we're contributing 40% of the fund. It's a $98 million project, 1,200-bed hospital, and we'll contribute about 38 to 39 million dollars, while they will take charge of the rest. These are what we're doing. We're trying to build 3 more cities around Port Harcourt.
Okay, I was just going to think that to decongest Port Harcourt.
Port Harcourt is almost gone. But we're trying to recover.
So why the choice of PPP? You seem to,
Yeah, those sectors of governance that can be driven by the private economy, by private investors, we are ready to partner with them. Take the area of transport. PPP Skybank is funding the buses, and we'll get those who run the buses. Our own contribution will be to construct the roads, build laybys, and build terminals. And then the buses, after some years, after Skybank has recovered its money according to them, will be given to those who run it, and they are free of charge.
So it's at least employment for the people of Rivers State as well. So infrastructure was one of your, key areas of concern.
One of the most important areas of concern.
And you attacked it immediately. Now, going forward, what is going to be what's your focus? What's highest on your mind?
I think
what should we be holding you to in December?
I think that education should be critical. I think that health should also be critical. These are the social sectors of the economy, because the others can be driven by private investors if you make the environment conducive. But the ones that are social are the ones that you expect government to invest on, who will ensure that virtually all villages or towns in Rivers State can hook up to Port Harcourt with good roads. We will try.
And that would decongest the city.
Yes, we will also pursue power. Already.
The IPP that you have in your state.
Yes, that's one of the achievements that Dr. Dili did as a governor. So we'll just conclude it. And then
I'll talk about that and how close to conclusion that is when I return from my break, because we're supposed to go on a break and then get contributions from those who are watching at this point in time. We'll be back with the Executive Governor of Rivers State, Right Honorable Chibuike Amechi. Don't go away. Welcome back. We're still in the studios with Honorable Rotimi Chibuike Amechi, and we left on the note of the infrastructural development you intend to carry out in Rivers State. And one particular sore point for Nigerians looking on from outside, even from people from Rivers State, was the IPP project in your state. Questions were, going back and forth about, first of all, the cost of the project. And I wonder, you say very soon this will be in place. How soon will this be? And what are your comments about all of that?
I don't want to make a promise that you cannot hold me to. Once I make my promise, I like to keep to it. And because I'm not the contractor or the engineer, I'd like to say that he has told me that before December, if we continue to fund him the way we're funding him now, he should be able to conclude the power project.
If you keep funding him the way you're funding him. What about the overestimation of the project itself?
I'm not aware that there's an overestimation. Before you talk about overestimation, you must do proper cost analysis. Mm-hmm. And when you've not done that, how do you arrive at that? You and I are not professionals. You have not quantified this thing. It's just that once you start anything, people are bound to allege all sorts of things and all that. I think the former governor has said that it's cheaper than the federal government IPP. So anybody who wants to say that the cost is high should be able to give us evidence.
Now, I just wonder, what value will the IPP bring, and how much are you funding the contractors to ensure?
Concluded and there's power everywhere, then the economy
in your state?
Yes, we kickstart. Well, I won't say kickstart because the economy is running.
It's already.
But there'll be a lot of improvement on the economy.
I have a text message from someone called Daniel in Port Harcourt, and he says, "You said the faceless mafia groups in Rivers State are perhaps broke, hence their attack on your administration. Are you suggesting that being in government is a veritable source of making money?"
Well, if I said they were broke, I didn't say that they got the money from government. Did I say that? I'm saying that, well, I'm sure one of the reasons for which they want to come in is they believe they could, they don't necessarily have to be in position of government, but they could get benefits from being given contracts and all that without due process and all that. So the attack is much more to see how they will buy into government.
But you do agree that, that's what Nigerians see office as. The electorate believe that those who are elected only go to office because they want to enrich their pockets. And with all the incidences of EFCC in recent times, it's like it's lending credence to what people believe.
That would be too much generalization. There are too many politicians. Nigerian politicians are too many for you to use a few instances, and some of these instances are not proven.
So it's not about making money.
It's not.
What would you say are the immediate challenges facing your administration? Ibrahim from Gombe, maybe he just joined.
Well, I have said about the things we are confronting. I talked about insecurity. I've talked about the fact that people require infrastructure development. I've talked about unemployment. These are major challenges that you need to confront.
Cultism is the root of militancy in Rivers State. What are you doing to address the situation in schools? Pascal from Buguma. Cultism.
It depends on which school you're talking about. If you're talking about secondary schools, we believe that we have a program to lay infrastructural development in our secondary schools and employment of new teachers, because we don't have enough teachers in the secondary schools. And probably we should go back to moral education as a way of developing the people as they grow into the university. If we have to worry about is the university, the relationship they keep in the university, that's what we have to worry about. And what can you do other than to ensure that those who break the law will face the law?
Well, I mean, it's beginning to show in other parts of Nigeria. What is the administration's position on the militant leader Oka, an indigene of Rivers State, who was arrested in Angola for gun running? Does his arrest have any impact on the state of security in your state? Azuka from Delta.
Which Azuka is this? Well, Oka is not from Rivers State, so I don't know what he wants me to say. It's a national problem. It's not my problem.
It's not your state indigene?
No, it's not my state. That's what I'm saying. It's not a Rivers indigene.
Okay. A lot of investors flee the state at the wake of heavy militancy in Rivers State. Are they back now? Hassan from...
I hope they are, but I've not seen them. Well, I've not seen them
but
in the number.
You've mentioned that you want.
That I want, but they are coming back.
What are the things you are putting in place to ensure that those who want to invest in your state are encouraged?
Ordinarily, we should be talking about the tax regime. But I think for me, whether the tax regime is there or not, what is critical and important to me will be to security. And we're trying to enforce law and order to ensure that we get security in place.
Do you have a special task force that's different from Nigerian police in the States?
No. We have a joint task force that's made up of the Nigerian Police, the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Navy, and Nigerian Army.
Okay, and that's a special condition. Revenue allocation sharing formula is a major problem and source of disagreement among governors. What is your opinion about the correct revenue? Okay, actually, you didn't say what your opinion was. This is Pius from Delta State. Well, What's your opinion?
I said there are different views to it.
And where does River State lie?
I believe that we need more funds to develop Niger Delta. And I believe that if you laid the golden egg, you should be giving a chunk of it to swallow.
To those who are...
And let it be properly managed to affect the lives of our people. That's what I believe. I should ordinarily have said outrightly about the resource control in terms of talking about fiscal federalism.
Yeah.
But you see, it's frightening a lot of people when you talk about fiscal federalism. The people in Nigeria want to take everything. So if that is the fear, let's get to a middle course and see how we can improve on the lives of our people.
But people always talk about the issue that in other parts of the world, resource lies in the hands of those who own it and they pay some kind of tax. You think that kind of thing will work in a country like Nigeria?
It will, but people don't want to let it work. That's why I said
it will.
Yeah, it will. Why? If you pay tax that will help run the federation, why? In fact, you could say, okay, take all and pay us 75% tax.
Yes,
it's the same thing as saying having 25% derivation.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's okay, take all and pay us 50% tax. It's the same thing as having 50% derivation. The only difference is that since you're the person managing it, you determine who those who work in that
region.
Yes, or in that environment. In which case, our people will have more employment opportunities than they're having now.
Isn't it possible that also you will not declare right what's there? Since
No. But it's an investment that is based on technology. Whatever you remove is recorded. You can't say we got 50 barrels of oil when you got 100. That won't be the case. But since that's the problem, then we are saying go ahead.
Why could that be a problem, you think?
Well, Nigeria is a complex. Don't forget there are too many ethnic groups and all that. And there's suspicion here and there and all that. And they need to carry all others along. Since some don't produce what you produce, it's important that everybody will have funding to grow their own state. Their own state and all that. And there's a need for the federation account to make this is available for them to have the funds to be able to develop. So if that's the reason, okay, give us.
It sounds easier. I mean, workable. The federal government can decide to charge you whatever tax it so desires. I think it's easier and workable for those who don't understand. But Helen from UU says, you played a major role in the emergence of the new PDP chairman. Can you describe his emergence as democratic, given the fact that no voting took place, and some of the aspirants were not happy about the turnout of the convention? I'm saying this because you are seen as a reference point for democracy in Nigeria today. Eddie.
I'm not aware I played prominent role. I was just the chairman of the committee.
You rallied around and got all the governors together.
No,
so the report saying
I'm the chairman. I mean, the chairman of the governors forum. I could not have rallied anybody. The chairman of the governors forum is our chairman. The governors forum, the PDP governors met as we could have been meeting all that time. So that nobody should attribute such powers to me. I don't have such powers. Then, by the grace of God and by the grace of the chairman and members of the governors forum of PDP, I was appointed to head the committee to look at the possibility of supporting a candidate by the governors. Don't forget, we're not only the pressure group.
But you're a major pressure group.
Yeah, but there are others. The Senate did say that they were supporting Pius Ayim. And all we did was look at the nation, look at the party, look at the other interest group in the party, and say, look, the other two candidates are wonderful candidates. They could run this party any day, anytime. But what's important is let's look for a candidate that won't cause major division, because the polarization was too high. So we look for a third candidate. And our choice of the governor's choice of Obulafor was based on the fact that he had been national secretary of party. He's the one who would be a wonderful chairman. And we chose him. I'm sure he's not disappointing anybody now.
Were you looking at the integrity of the party in doing all of this?
Of course. It was critical. It was critical. We had wonderful candidates that wanted to be chairman of the party, that would hold the party together. But we were interested in ensuring that the divisions did not continue. That's why we went for the former national
So
secretary.
is that democratic? That, you know?
No. Don't also forget this. I have said this severally. We did not stop any election. We rather said that elections that will take place should rather take place with our own candidate in our own mind. We'll decide where our supporters will vote. And our supporters should have voted for the candidate of our choice, which is Obulafor. The Senate has said they were supporting IM. Other people were supporting different candidates, so we should be allowed to vote. But the candidates on their own chose to step down for the candidate that the governors wish to support.
So it's popular. It's still, I mean, democracy
It's democracy.
popular.
Yes.
Popular.
They on their own. Nobody spoke to them. Well, I'm not aware that the governor spoke to anybody to step down. But the governors were backing.
And they probably realized that the die was cast. That means the governors group is the most powerful group.
So which means that they knew that if there was election, then they
would have lost.
So what else is democracy now?
Okay, looking at Nigeria, I mean, you like a Daniel, came back, from the lion's den, more or less, and then you look at democracy in Nigeria. Are you one of those that's hopeful about the future of the country?
Oh, very great. Before I didn't. Before I had almost given up. But the indication is that now we politicians are conscious of the fact that there's a third arm of government called judiciary watching over us. I know they are the quiet group. The judiciary is very quiet. But with what they are doing now, by next election you will see.
That's 2011.
Yes, but you watch Kogi's election. Everybody was careful not to make any mistake that will take you back to court and then notify the election again. That is indication that once there's a supervisory organ, politics in Nigeria will move on.
But then there's still some violence. It's like there's some do or die, no matter what happens.
It will not be eliminated immediately. It is a gradual process. It's a gradual process. Okay, look, take PDP for instance. After my judgment, PDP realized that it's not
as easy
as it used to be before. So anybody could go to court and get the kind of judgment that Amechi got. So it is important that the world knows, and Nigeria knows, that things are beginning to change. And courtesy, the present government, courtesy, the judiciary.
Do you worry that the judiciary will stand its own? I mean, because under a lot of pressure. In Benin, for example, in those states, I hear that the judge had to write his statement in longhand, just for fear of anybody tampering with it.
Yeah, but don't forget that at least before, people used to think, oh, you can do anything and get away with it in Nigeria. But now judiciary is being to let you know you can't get away with it. Whether the judge wrote it with longhand or typed it himself or anything, what's important is that we're aware now that there's an arm of government that is saying, well, gentlemen, we're tired of watching people. Now we want to ensure that people do the right thing according to the law.
No, the point I was making here is the pressure on them is very high because they're trying to do what is right. The pressure is very high and they could break.
No, break how? They're just starting. If they break, then democracy won't survive. They have to stand they have to stand there and stand for the Nigerian people. That way, all politicians will be careful of what they do. You can't wake up in the morning and sit in your house and say, write the result, give this people 100,000, give this people 20, give us 5 million. Now you realize that Everybody has to go to campaign. Everybody has to fulfill the law.
How do you think we should protect the judiciary then?
Well, I think that what the federal government and state government should do is provide them all the necessary requirements, or everything they need to ensure that they survive as an arm of government.
Security?
Everything.
And money too, remuneration?
Well, they should improve on their remunerations, they should improve on their welfare and all that, and ensure that whatever is required to protect the law or administer the law should be put in place.
So now going forward, I mean, people are already beginning to speculate what's going to happen in 2011. Is your term going to be counted from October 26 or 2007, or what's going to happen?
That's the law. The law going by Obi and is it Obi and INEC also? Is that they use your sworn in is the beginning of your
term?
Yeah.
So another 4 years.
Yes.
So projecting 4 years from now, where do you want your state to be?
I want to have a state that should be able to deliver water, deliver affordable and accessible health, affordable and accessible education to the poor and the rich, and a secured environment where people can do business and live their normal life. I want Rivers people to be able to say I'm proud to be from Rivers State.
Now, in what ways do you want the ordinary Riverian, the ordinary person on the street in your state, to be able to help you achieve that?
For me, the two things they should do is to keep us knowing that we have to be accountable to them. They must therefore keep us in check and be able to make contact with us to let us know where we are failing so that we can correct it. Because at the end of the day, if we don't deliver, it is...
How can they keep you in check?
Oh, if we don't hold 6 months stakeholders meeting for which we want to render our account, they should call us and remind us.
So they are promising that there will be stakeholder meetings every 6 months?
No, there may be even before 6 months, but we want to render stewardship.
A maximum of 6 months. If in 6 months you don't call them to give an account,
they should make us know
they should find out
why we're not doing that.
And I mean, this project, I mean, to the rest of Nigeria too. I mean, Nigerians, would you say they are still very skeptical about the democracy that we have, given the level of, all the stories we hear about corruption?
No, but I think
even in democracy,
I think the judiciary is beginning to give all of us hope.
So we should hold on to the judiciary.
Yes, I think they're going to give us hope. They're going to make us know that, look, we will help you hold this people accountable.
Okay, even if you can't. Even if you can't. So on the larger scale, how would you rate the government at the national level?
Oh, wonderful.
Wonderful is a word.
Yeah, this so-called attempt by all of you to say the governors came together is because we have a president who believes in rule of law and allowed everybody to play out what the law says. He simply said, I'm neutral, I'm not involved.
But they have a candidate?
No, the president didn't have a candidate.
Okay.
That's what I said. He just said, look, I'm going to stick to the rule of law. There must be an election, there must be primary. But when he played out at Kogi, one of the best elections we held ever for a very long time is one that we held in Kogi. I'm sure Adamawa will be a repeat, where you are seeing live, people are going to vote, people are expressing their views publicly. You can see it. Before, nobody bothers to go and vote because they claim other things will happen. Yes. Voter apathy will be, if not eliminated, will be reduced. That you will see more voters in the next election because they will now know that the real thing will take place.
Well, you realize some people are questioning the current president's approach of letting the rule of law take place. They say he's a slow worker.
Well, what were you expecting? You think due process is just wake up and say, let this happen, and it happens with immediate effect. Due process means there are processes you have to pass through, and that process cannot start today and finish tomorrow morning. It's a gradual process. Oh, you want contract? You say yes. The first thing is to tender. You say yes. You don't just tender, you advertise. When you advertise, say, I give you 30 days to come and bring your license. You people say, oh, why are you waiting for 30 days? Meanwhile, you're asking for due process. So if the president says, okay, things must be done by way of due process, you advertise. When you advertise, people will look, sift away the fake ones from the real ones, and then call for opening of tender publicly, and then there's a contract award before execution.
So due process is a slow process. Could be a slow process.
It's even difficult to even fast forward it. Unless you want to do a situation where it's okay, president wakes up tomorrow and say, hi, Adesua, I'll give you a contract. And the Minister for Works award the contract to Adesua. Then that will be too fast. But don't forget, how does he arrive at the cost of the contract?
So, well obviously, the judiciary is doing a very good job.
Yeah.
And give Nigerians a lot of confidence. Yeah. But I also worry about the fact that it's only when a leader is out of position that people begin to attack the leader and bring out all his negative points, not while he's there. You know, given the circumstances that are surrounding all the stories, like the Power Project, at the national level now that has been investigated, people feel maybe why they're digging out these things only after the president has gone up, last president.
Well, I don't want to get involved in what's happening at national level, honestly. I don't want to get
You're a
involved.
Nigerian.
Yes, but I don't want to get involved. I don't know what is
And I believe you have an opinion.
Believe me, I don't have an opinion on what's going on at the national level. But the truth is, this habit where we only speak after they have gone. There are two categories of people. There are those who speak because they are speaking, not maybe basically because they've not benefited. But there are also those who speak genuinely while you're in government. But a large chunk of them speak only when they've left, maybe for fear of whether you arrest them when you're in power, or maybe they won't get benefits and all that. But well, if what is done was done wrongly and there's need to correct it, what's wrong with correcting it?
People must face the music.
Yes, and it's important for you to realize that this will happen at the end of the day when you leave office, so that you can.
That's what I'm saying. So for the politicians like you who are in power right now,
it's a lesson, so that you do things correctly, so that when anybody wakes up after you've left to call you back, you're able to defend yourself.
You can defend yourself. And what's the beauty about this for democracy, for all of us?
It means that democracy is working. You may not believe it, but it means that all governors now know that it's not anything you can like to do that you can do.
And we'll begin to see the benefits at the level.
Yeah, the people should be able to reap the benefits of all this.
Why you don't want to go to the national level? I mean, because you're also one of the judiciary, more or less, you know. And I wonder, though, what you think is the biggest challenge for democracy in our country now? Is corruption still it?
I think...
Because we seem to expect that corruption would have...
But it's gradually dying down. Are you actually saying that all of us politicians are corrupt?
Well, not only politicians, other Nigerians
that
too.
the whole Nigerians are corrupt. Then it becomes a culture, it becomes a way of life. If that's what you're saying. I think beyond the issue of corruption is the fact that the people are looking forward to development. They're looking forward to
results.
Yes, I think that's basically what they're looking forward to.
And therefore, corruption is no more an issue?
No, I didn't say that. I said beyond the issue of corruption. We have flogged corruption. Beyond the issue of corruption is the people require. Actually, you know, if developments are put in place, people may forget corruption.
Okay, so that's a lesson for those who are leading, isn't it?
Because why corruption is an issue is that they're not seeing the benefits of their funds, right? Once you can see the benefits of your fund, most people may not bother.
So that's a challenge of leadership right now.
I believe so.
Okay. Now, going forward, what are your dreams for? I mean, in what ways can we help our leaders be better at their job?
We must.
I'm leaving Rivers State now.
Yes. In fact, I wanted to say, locate that in Rivers State. I believe that the leadership of Rivers State should be held accountable for all the funds they get.
And the same thing wherever, not only Rivers State.
Well, I don't know about wherever, but let us ensure that every fund that comes to Rivers State, people are held accountable for such funds, beginning from the governor to all government appointees and all elected officials at the state level. That is critical. And once people know there are people watching out for those funds, then it will be applied properly.
People watching out for those funds, and we should still hope on the judiciary, like you say, which is very important. So if you want dream, I mean, what's the future for you? Remain in Rivers State or move ahead?
Oh, I beg you. Why I say I beg you is a lot of people have been misled on this issue of going ahead.
People say you have future ambitions.
Who?
Of getting to Aso Rock.
I beg you. I'm a Christian. I beg you. I'm sure you're a Catholic. I can see you wear rosary on your hand. I beg you in Jesus' name. I've just told you, a lot of people have been misled, a lot of politicians. That's how it starts. Do you know that you can be a wonderful president? Oh, the things you have done in your state is so wonderful. I think you should replicate them at the federal. Then the man begins to assume, I'm going to be a wonderful president. One day I'm going to be a president. And he lives in a world of illusion. And actually begins to prepare to be president. Not begin to prepare, not bother himself whether he's equipped or not. And he begins to prepare. That's what Nigerians will lead you to. I beg you. See that Rivers State. I want to remain there.
This is your home. This is what you want to do. So your final words for your people in the state as we leave?
That God will bless them.
And through you?
Better things will come by God's grace. If we work together, I believe we can work together.
Thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate your presence and we wish you all the best. And I believe that by the end of this year, we will see the results, more results, based on what you're doing. That has been One-on-One. We've been talking with the Executive Governor of Rivers State, Right Honorable Rotimi Chibuike Amici. We'll see you again on the program. Bye-bye.